just put this battery in about 15 minutes ago, and it's already, oops, it went back up to 100. It was down to 93%, now it's back up to 100. So I'm here to tell you that someone else can affect your battery life in your devices, which bodes the question in the world of, oops, there's a baby blue Subaru or similar. Yesterday we saw a car similar, it was a Honda Pilot, but that's more like a Subaru or a Ford that looks like a Subaru. Back up to 100, and I thought I lost 7% by waiting. I was like, how is it draining? And there's the gas station, Sunoco. So it poses the question in the field of law, when people can be found or not found, or could there be evil entities within the system who desperately want Starbucks, who desperately want a drama to unfold, a master of disasters, and innocent people trying to live their lives could wind up in very serious situations through no control of their own. Like, they would be certain their phone was at 100% or in the 90s, and just when they need their phone, zap, it goes out. And it could be a brand new phone, so there shouldn't be anything wrong with the battery. Now, on the flip side, the Supermans, the Stormtroopers, the quote-unquote white hats, if you look at the world that way, that would be like more of the hacker. That's an old symbolism. Do you wear the white hat or the black hat? The dark side or the light side. Same with Star Wars, Darth Vader, or the Stormtroopers. So do you wear the white hat and add energy to someone's phone? Or in my case, camera. Now we're down to 99, so we lost 1%. We have the medical field here, so I would wonder if that field is tapped in to a network that could drain or add. But we've had it on for 15-30 seconds, so I guess draining 1% already is. So the other day, this very battery lasted for 8-minute 52-second segments, which is far cry from like 2.5 or 3, which my old batteries had fizzled out naturally. So we're down to 98%. So anyway, I'm just saying, I've had so many weird things happen that are out of the norm. I know people kind of have accepted the world of devices and weird things happening, but in my case, things would happen in a timely way. Like, maybe I was delivering for Shipt in Gainesville, Florida during the pandemic, and you need your phone at all times, charged up constantly, because you use the app and everything, and then you have to find the directions and this, that, and the other. And there was one customer, and sometimes I didn't pay attention to her orders because she always got crispy white Frenzia boxed wine. That's all she got. And she was in the boondocks of Gainesville, Florida, in a trailer, and the drive out there was a little bit sketchy, especially at night. Now, here's transit police here, an electric bike, and this is hanging out at Sweat Gym, TP 4125. And anyway, I had many scares where it's like the battery would drop down, and it's like, I don't want to be out here. That's like one example, and some people could say, well, you're out in the boondocks, so maybe that's why. There's always an excuse. I've had so many weird things happen. Like just now, I turned on my camera, it said 93%. In my apartment, it said 100. I turned it on for the first time after having walked past Barrow Mini Restaurant, Rittenhouse Square, because I wanted to start at the gas station this morning. I'm a little bit early, and I was hoping to catch the sunrise. But it said 93% when I turned it on at the gas station. Now the camera was off. So how did it lose 7% without even being on? I do not have an app on my phone, because the other thing I thought of was a lot of people live stream and they use their GoPros, but to live stream with a GoPro, you have to remotely connect your GoPro to an app on your phone and then turn it on. So we're at 95% here. And anyway, so I tried to come up with all the reasons, but somewhere I lost 7% between my apartment and 22nd Street. So 17th and 22nd. So that would be 5 blocks. Plus, like, it's really just 5 blocks. I'm on the corner, so it's not like I had to walk to Walnut. You know, it's like 100 feet, you know, at best. Maybe 50. So anyway, just curious. We're at 95% now. I just know the first 2 times out of the box, you know, I was surprised. I was like, oh my god, I went this far and the battery's still like way up at, you know. So I think I checked it after like 3 frames and it was still at 81%. And usually it would have been like draining down to 15% in the past for old batteries. On top of that, someone suggested, oh, what does 7% mean? What does 7 represent to you? Now, I have many connotations. There's always lucky 7s, like 777, you won the jackpot or whatever. But 7 has been affiliated with certain people's phone numbers from my past, who I'm not sure whether or not to trust, because of my world being turned upside down. So I would know my old landlord had 7s, and, you know, there's 7 days of the week. I also kind of attribute it, you know, religiously. Certain people have, you know, affiliations with the number 7. So I've wondered, like, should I, like, what, did we lose 7% by walking? By not turning on the camera, we don't have to put up with the 7%ers. Now, there's more of a show in downtown Center City, meaning if people catch wind that I walk around, they'll start putting on shows. It's hard to explain, and people learn to set up and orchestrate. And there's all kinds of activity. For some reason, they don't really come out here as much. You know, things happen, and it can seem like you're on another planet, because it's like, that's weird. This person materialized out of thin air, and they seem to have an important role. That would be the way to put it. You know, your car breaks down in darkness. This happened in Gainesville. And it turns out one of the spark plugs wasn't tightly... Should I go through the park or... Go to the park? Okay. Wasn't tightly, snugly fit. So, but someone mysteriously materialized out of nowhere and was able to fix the spark plug. That's what I was told to do. And it did kind of, the feeling, the ambiance. Do we want to turn around? The feeling, that guy had to make a look, you know, had a certain look, and I'm kind of curious why he's out here this hour unless he has to catch a train on a Saturday morning. But the ambiance, it's hard to, I don't love the word ambiance, it sounds so, you know, the energy, the vibe puts you in like outer space. And someone I talked to who seems to have more money and seems to be more in the know about these kinds of things, she was like, Florida is good at making people feel extra special, or like the other guy would feel special